What's up, everyone? Welcome to Lowered Expectations. Thanks for lowering your expectations and hanging out with me here. I do appreciate it. Today's video is going to be a quick one. I'm going to be testing Vevor's Flux core welding wire. This is 0.035 flux core. And as you guys can see, it is already out of the packaging. This is the vacuum bag that it comes in, and this is the cardboard box. The reason why it is unboxed is because I did that for my supporters over on Patreon to give them a heads up on how incredible of a deal this is. How good is it? Well, currently in Canada, the best price that I can find on a 10-pound spool of welding wire is at Princess Auto, and the price there is $95 plus tax. This currently at Vevor for 0.035 10 pounds of flux core is $49.99. So if you're in Canada and you have a wire feed welder and you use flux core, don't wait to the end of this video. It has just recently become available, as far as I know, in Canada, and the stock is pretty low, so I wouldn't wait around. If you're in the States, they have a few more. I don't know if it's actually available in other countries, but I will have the affiliate links as well as a discount code in the description below. I wouldn't hang around waiting. If you need some of this stuff, now's the time to get it. Some of you may think it's strange for a grown man to be this excited about a 10-pound spool of flux core welding wire, but this is an incredible deal, and I was in need of flux core welding wire. Back when I did the Black Friday sale video for Vevor, I mentioned that this stuff was not available in Canada and recommended that anyone in the US actually go pick some of this stuff up. And fortunately, now it has actually become available in Canada, and they have sent me some. I thought I should probably mention, while I am testing the Flux Core 035 wire, they also have Flux Core 030 as well as solid 035 and 030. So if you have welding wire needs, once again, link in the description as well as a discount code. Some of you have mentioned that you're a little bit annoyed about me talking about Vevor all the time, and to you I have this to say. As I keep my channel alive with Vevor products, keep my garage warm with Vevor diesel heaters, wheel my CNC milling bench over on Vevor leveling casters, weld it over in this corner with a Vevor extension cord with Vevor welding wire in my welder, I think it would be incredibly ungrateful to not mention them. I am only obligated to mention them once per video, and I'm only obligated to make one video per product, but I mention them all the time because, quite honestly, I am grateful. Thanks to Vevor. I can't put it on this way and feed from the bottom. That just would not work. So we're gonna have to put it on this way, and we won't get to see the Vevor logo. So let's get this in there. Hopefully we don't let it go and have any springing. Alrighty. The project for today is welding on these 6 pieces of 1.5 inch square tubing, as well as this angle iron onto the ends of my CNC milling frame. The milling frame has a chip tray sitting on top of it, and I am going to weld this piece of square tubing and this piece of angle iron to support the ends of the chip tray. That way it can't rock back and forth. Eventually this will have some rubber padding on it, but for today we're just going to weld everything in place. Just in case it's not 100% clear, this is not an instructional video. This is not necessarily the safest way to go about doing these things. This is just how I'm doing it. Read your owner's manual, follow all of the safety instructions, and for goodness sakes, don't weld using wood. It is flammable. I'm going to get all of this stuff tacked up to start with, then once it's all tacked, I will fully weld it out, and then I will weld them to my milling table. I've got these all tacked up, and one thing I can tell you that is definitely better about cheap welding wire, I am extremely frugal. When you're tacking stuff up, you're actually supposed to snip off the end piece of wire just so that you don't drive oxides into your weld, and so that you're starting with a fresh tip that will actually start up the arc more easily. I normally don't do that because I'm too cheap. I just struggle through it, and if I really have to, then I cut the wire off. However, when the wire is this cheap, it doesn't hurt me nearly as much to snip it off. So you guys may have noticed in that time lapse, I was snipping the wire off pretty much after every weld, and it made it a lot easier to tack this up. So one win for the cheaper welding wire. I hate to interrupt the time lapse like this, but it really doesn't make any sense to me how good this stuff is actually welding. I figured that it would be as good or indistinguishable from the other welding wire that I was using, but it is actually much better, and I don't understand why. It is going down much more, I don't know how to explain it, much more fluid, much more, there's less spatter, and it's flowing out better. Kind of like when you use flux with solder and it flows in. I will show you guys, I'm gonna weld one of these in real time. I'm not gonna clean it up. This is the last one that I have to weld. I'm gonna weld it up, I'm not gonna clean it off, and then I will show you. I'll get some shots with my iPhone. This one's probably gonna be complete disaster now that I said that I'd do that. It just doesn't make any sense. It shouldn't be this easy. Like, I really don't understand it. I'm not doing anything special. I'm not, yeah, I'm holding a steady speed, but I'm not making any C patterns or S patterns or anything weird. I'm just 45-degree angle into the root and a nice steady speed, and it's perfect. I had to blink in the middle of that one, and I was like, oh no, it's gonna get screwed up. And it's fine. I'm gonna do this last one, like I said, up on edge like this, actually like this, just so that I have easier access. I can't believe how good this stuff welds. And I'm using the same welder. It's not like I haven't welded recently. This frame was all completely welded out with that welder, with the spool of wire that I just took out of it. And this stuff is working way better. If I were doing this ordinarily, I would clean this up, but I'm purposely not going to clean that up, just to show you guys. Okay, I should be welding it from this side though. Camera in the way. Like, it doesn't make sense to me how good it goes down. I'm not even gonna cut the shot, I'm just gonna come up and show you guys. Keep in mind this is flux core, so of course there's gonna be slag on it, and there's gonna be a few pebbles or a few bits of, why can't I think of the word now? Spatter, weld spatter. Of course there's gonna be a little bit of that, but I'll show you guys how incredibly easy it comes off. Okay, let's get in close. I'm also gonna have to get my iPhone. Okay, even the GoPro is able to pick up how little spatter there is on these welds. That is incredible. Very little spatter, and look how smooth the beads are. Again, I am not a welder. I'm gonna clean these all up with a wire brush now. As you do with any flux core weld. And we'll take another look at, wow, we'll take another look at them. If you have a look at my wire brush, you guys can see that I am pretty frugal and I use things until they basically can't be used anymore. Although this isn't a horrible weld, this is a weld that was done a few months ago with my welder with that other welding wire. And it was of course done by me. And now, this is a weld that was done with the Vevor welding wire. Same welder, same welding person. And you can see quite clearly the difference. That other weld that I showed you guys was cleaned off with a flat disc and a wire wheel. This one had a few seconds with that ratty old wire brush that I showed you. For this much money, I would buy this wire even if it wasn't great, just because I'm not a fabricator. Most of the stuff that I do isn't, you know, structurally critical, but this is truly mind-blowing. I totally did not expect this. Again, I've already said it, and you're probably getting sick of hearing it already, but I expected this to be indistinguishable basically from my other welding wire, and it turns out to be actually better at almost a third of the cost of the stuff that was in there. Next thing I'm gonna have to get from Vevor is an actual welding cart thing for all of my welding supplies, because this thing doesn't really cut it. It's nice because it fits under my bench though. I'm quite honestly not sure what else to say about this welding wire. I was very impressed by it, and I don't ever remember being impressed by a welding wire before. I have used Lincoln, I've used Miller, I've used the Air Liquide stuff, and I've also used some really cheap no-name stuff that was just given to me, as well as some stuff that came free with a really, really cheap welder, and I've never noticed any of it be really good or really bad. It's all just worked the same in my mind. And this is the first time that I've ever had a welding wire where I've noticed it work that much better. So maybe that's because I'm biased. Maybe it's because my old stuff is damaged in some way. Maybe because it's old. But this stuff has worked incredibly well, and it is definitely worth the cost. If you made it all the way to the end of the video without buying some, there will be affiliate links as well as a discount code in the description below. As you guys might be able to see here, I decided not to weld across the ends of all of these. So these two got welded across the ends, but the rest of them are just welded in the corner joints here. And that's because this was way overkill, and I was probably just going to blow a bunch of holes through these because I'm not that great of a welder. I'm not really sure what else to say at this point, so I'm going to leave you guys here. If you want to see more nonsense like this, be sure to subscribe to my channel. And if you like the video, remember to leave a thumbs up. I will see you guys next time.